and it's bonkers, really, if you try and put all of that sort of stuff together. Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name's Ian J. Cole. If you've not been here before, this channel is all about music and art, and this is
Jane. Hi.
And today is our 4th day at Edinburgh Fringe Festival, and we've just seen our first show of the day, and that was M.E.H. Mass Epidemic Hysteria. You got tickets to this, didn't you? Did you? Were you?
Yes, I did.
Yeah,
I did.
This is another complimentary show, although today is the first proper day of sales of tickets. And I have to say, this is not something we would have normally gone to.
No. It probably wouldn't have grabbed us.
No. Anyway, just before we get on to the review bit, and this is going to be a very difficult review in the sense that it's going to be hard to explain what this show is about. But here is a short clip from the who's the company? They're called the Outbound Project. So this is a little bit that they've produced about the show.
The word hysteria comes from the Greek for womb. But the idea that the womb could cause complaints all over the body was first recorded in the ancient Egyptian text, the Kahun Papyrus, where fumigation of the womb was recommended to cure a woman's toothache. In ancient Greece, this idea became the theory of the wandering womb, which could cause all manner of complaints that we know well, such as excessive reading, wild behavior, and lewd thoughts.
Okay, so you'll get a little bit of a feeling for what the show was like. Obviously, lots of physical dancing. Jane, I'll let you go. I'll let you start.
Well, again, we seem to be seeing shows which are quite difficult to explain. But obviously, it was the history, in a nutshell, of hysteria, which was diagnosed back in the 18th, 19th centuries. That kind of
starts in the. I'm just looking at the bottom of the flyer actually here. It starts. I don't remember seeing this bit. Ancient Egypt, wandering womb. I think they mentioned that right at the beginning.
That came out later.
So 1518 is where it all started.
Yeah. So there was in fact 16th century. But so we had lots of bits of historical fact, and names, and it was. But it was funny.
I was just going to say, it was the first 5 minutes was all in French, and there was obviously we were meant to be slightly confused, I think, by the fact, till the point was the director actually stopped the production and said that it could be in English. Didn't she?
I was actually worried that the production was in French. I was just beginning to think, is this production in French?
Yes, yeah. And I think we were meant to think that.
A character who is playing the producer and actually filled in sort of some of the narrative, which was quite good, said, actually, no, the show isn't in French. It was linked to one of the doctors that diagnosed hysteria later. And he spoke 4 languages, apparently. So anyway, but yeah, so there was history. There was representation through physical theatre. There was also, because a woman famously in history danced to try and persuade her husband that basically something was wrong. And so we had an actress on stage the whole of the show in basically a box, plastic box, so we could see. And she danced.
That's all she did. She just danced all the way through.
She then came out right at the end and sort of gave a speech, which, to be quite honest, I wasn't quite sure about that. I didn't understand all of what she was saying.
I mean, that for me was only the weak point of it. I mean, just before we get to that bit at the end, there were the director, or the actress performing as the director, kept interfering with the production as it was going on, and in fact she started to do magic tricks.
Well, she said that was because she wanted to keep her interest.
Yeah, and
so
she was very funny.
So she
was
came
great.
out,
yeah.
And randomly we had magic tricks. Some were very good, actually.
Some were very good. Yeah,
but it made us laugh.
Yeah, it did make us laugh.
Fun.
So, although we had a serious subject.
It was.
Then it was interspersed with these comic moments, which really, I mean, there was no point in it was I ever bored by anything. It kept my interest the whole way through. Yeah. Back to your point about that, when we're getting towards the end and the girl in the box came out and gave this monologue, and it's quite a long monologue, wasn't it? It's a good few minutes.
Yeah, it was.
I didn't think that was great, if I'm honest. It was probably the weakest point, and I really didn't get what the point was.
No,
it was leading up to her and three of the other. There's five in the team, 5 women in the cast in the company, and 4 of them danced this incredibly physical dance for the last few minutes in a very small space. This was not a big venue. It would be lovely if they had a much bigger space, it was fantastic, and I really liked that. But if the monologue was really just to lead up to that, for me it could have been a bit shorter or a bit snappier, or I couldn't really quite get the point of that, but that might have been me.
No, I mean, yeah, and I agree. I've said that. I mean, throughout the production, you did get the quite serious references to how women were treated
by predominantly men.
By men.
Yeah.
So that was quite a serious side, and that was quite that was shown. But I liked the links from the history to the modern. That worked.
It did. Yeah.
And
it was a production that wasn't taking it. There's a serious message behind this.
Yeah, there was.
But actually, the production wasn't taking itself too seriously.
Yeah.
And I quite liked that because you are there to be entertained.
Yeah.
But
equally, I think you'd go away, and even though, some people might know about the link with Hysteria and all the historical references, etc., it still makes you go away and think, I'm going to look that up because, I'm not quite sure about that. I'd like to know a little bit more about that because it is an important part of history.
Yeah, I mean, and we're going to give the stars thing. I would highly recommend it.
Yes.
How many stars, Jen?
I'd go for a 4.
I would have gone for 5.
Okay.
So we're going to fight about it.
Well, we'll split the difference and go for 4.5.
I thought it was. I mean, considering the other things that we've given 5 stars to, I thought it was up there. Really, there wasn't anything apart from that one monologue that I didn't think. If you ask them, it will have a relevance. That monologue. Yeah. But I personally didn't get it, and it sounds like you didn't either.
No, I didn't.
But that was the only thing. So that was a very, very small.
It's a good piece of theatre.
It is a very good piece of theatre. Yeah. And to some extent, you might say, it is hard for them to sell it because the girl we saw who handed out the tickets and the flyer said there was magic show and a girl in a box and all this sort of stuff. And it's bonkers, really, if you try and put all of that sort of stuff together. But it certainly worked as a piece of physical dance theatre, So no,
yeah, it was more than that.
Yeah,
it was more than that. Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, if you want to see the show, it's on right the way through the Fringe in the underbelly, which is where it's not on the flyer, I don't think, is it?
It's on George IV Bridge.
Yeah, it doesn't say, but it's underbelly. Yeah, George IV. Just says Edinburgh underbelly at Edinburgh Fringe, and the time. Actually, I need to look at my ticket. That's probably
12, I think it was.
There you go. Yes, James, right. 12. Underbelly Cowgate in the Iron Belly.
Yep, it was.
Okay. Well, thanks so much for watching. If you like what I do, subscribe and all that sort of stuff. I'm sounding like a broken record, really. And we'll see you in the next video. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye.